Sawadee Krak. Hello, my name is Kotaro
อัดทันเซสชัน
from
เลยนะ
Keio University, Japan. I'm working for network deployment in Asia, and this time Japan was involved and attacked by a very serious earthquake and tsunami disaster. And now I'm working to recover the internet infrastructure in the disaster area. And I'd like to share some ideas and experience from the recovery operation in the northern east area of Japan. And you can see this. This is a tsunami disaster that came right after the major earthquake. Everything was gone, and everything was destroyed. Even in the building that was made using concrete and iron, it was destroyed. And over 30,000 people were dead in this disaster. And after this disaster, how we can recover your life in the disaster area was the biggest issue. And my activity is to contribute to the recovery from the viewpoint of the ICT. Well, another web page I just like to show is that in the left-hand side is before the tsunami, and the right side is after tsunami. So this was before. There was a house and beautiful beach, but after that, everything was destroyed. And like this, before and after, the landscape was changed. And so another thing, this is our nuclear reactors. It was working, but now it's destroyed. And like this is also the before and after. So there's some rank here where it's already destroyed. So this is the situation. And now, what do we do? So our approach is post-disaster recovery internet. The one thing that happened on the 311, of course, the Tohoku area was hit by the earthquake and the tsunami. But in Tokyo, there was a big problem, meaning that the commuters were unable to go home. The train was stopped, electricity was going down, And then the traffic was disastrous because of the heavy traffic jam. Like to go 10 kilometers by car, it will like 3 or 4 hours because of traffic jam. And many commuters were staying in their office in downtown Tokyo. And then like 7 hours later or next day, they went home. Like 10 kilometers work from their office to their house, like 15 or 20. Go to another prefecture from Tokyo to Kanagawa or Saitama or whatever. And many public and private facilities accepted the refugees to provide stay. And then, of course, this kind of impact was last like 3 or like 1 day, 1 week, and then there was a big impact on the commuting in downtown area, Tokyo. But the one thing is that the telephone was destroyed, and but the data communication was arrived. Of course, it was very unstable, but it was reachable. So my wife was involved in this situation in Tokyo, and I tried to make a phone call many times to her, but it was not available. But when I calling her using Skype, it's okay. So meaning that the telephone voice call was dead, but the data was alive. So to let her go home, what I did is to gather and share the information using the Twitter, Facebook, or email. And then if I need a phone call, then I use the Skype. And then originally she was trying to go back to my place, but I ordered her to go to my parents' home, and then she get to my parents' home in the midnight, like 8 years later the earthquake. This is a story on the March 11th. And now another impact after the earthquake and tsunami was that because of the nuclear plant was destroyed, so in Tokyo we are facing the power blackout every day. And to make it work, we have to do something. And because our university is maintaining the part of internet infrastructure in Japan, so we have to make our network alive, even if we are facing the power blackout. And in Tokyo, there was a rolling power blackout, meaning that the Tokyo was segmented to several areas. And from 6 to 9 in the morning, area 1, and 9 to 12, area 2, 12 to 15, area 3, or something like that. So the power blackout was happened in each site in a different time frame. This is a rolling blackout, and this was a first experience in my life to handle the rolling power blackout. And when the electricity is up, then we can use light. But during the blackout, everything is dark. This is a safe place, with and without the power. And in this circumstance, we have to keep the networking facility alive. So what we did is that to put the priority. The one thing is that we already have a power supply and a big battery to make our network alive in the normal power blackout. But in this time, it was too long. So what we did is that we have several equipment that we want to make it alive. But we put some priority. This is high, this is low. 100 Mbps link is kind of the last resort for us. So we decided to keep it up and to put UPS and a smaller power generator to make it alive. The other part will be down if the existing power source will be exhausted. And also, to keep the PCs and servers running during the power blackout is a very big problem. And what we did, okay, do you know the virtualization? Raise hand. Do you use VMware? Oh, some. Good. Okay. Yeah, basically, this is one laptop computers. But in this laptop computers, we can run several operation systems. So this is a kind of virtualization. One physical machine and several operation systems, meaning computers. And what we did is to run the multiple operation systems in a distributed environment that were interconnected using the network. If we do this, the computers that was running in our campus can survive in another campus using the virtual machine. And also, to make it easy, okay, I have a virtual machine here, but we want to make it in another place. What we did is to the cloud computing using a very simple user interface. If we do this, the computers that was running in our campus can be transferred to another place where there is no power blackout. To make it, our service and the important computers may run in a disaster situation and the power blackout, then we are trying to use the cloud computing that handle the virtual machines very well. Now, before we go to the PDRNet project, I have to introduce the basic concept of the emergency communication systems. It was called Lifeline Station. So before this earthquake and the tsunami disaster in March 11th, we were already developing the emergency communication systems called Lifeline Station. And as you may know, this is another big earthquake that was happened in 2008. There was a mountain. Everything was green. But mountain was disappeared because of the impact of the earthquake. And so our self-defense force was doing some recovery operations and also rescue. and then many people were evacuated to some elementary school, gymnasium, or whatever. The question at that time was how can ICT contribute in the post-disaster situations? So we cannot avoid a disaster, but we can do something after the disaster that may help people. The answer was the concept of lifeline station. Lifeline means like water, electricity, gas, and maybe the transportation too. And we tried to add the information and the telecommunication as another lifeline, Kataoka. The concept of the lifeline station is easy. Everything is self-contained, like getting started to connect to the internet and supplying the power. And the IP, meaning that the internet is everything. As far as we are connected to the internet, then we can do anything that the current internet can support. Like the telephone, video conferencing, email, web browsing, whatever. And then we try to classify the components of the lifeline station. And on the lifeline station, we have some architecture. So basically, our focus is enable internet. And we will use the satellite, Wi-Fi access, wireless MAN like WiMAX, and any other infrastructure like the mobile telecommunication for the internet. And then on the applications, we can do everything, but it will be depending on the needs in the disaster site. The classification of our package, we have 6 packages. The first one, class 0, is the portable power supply. So we do not expect that there is a power supply in the disaster site. Everything was destroyed. So what we did is to prepare the power supply by ourselves. Without power supply, we cannot do anything. So this is very important. And after that, we are trying to quickly recover the internet access using satellite. And then we can deploy the Wi-Fi network around this satellite Earth station. And then we can use digital broadcasting. Okay, you may see TV, you may listen to radio, and then everything using that kind of infrastructure may be damaged. So in that case, we can install the portable broadcasting equipment and to provide some information to the refugees that may have the cellular phone. Cellular phone in Japan equips the tuner of the digital broadcasting, so we can make it. And then class 4 and 5 is like a more advanced technology like WiMAX and robotics or using vehicles. So they are kind of applications in a higher level. When the lifeline station contributions is like right after the disaster, and when the disaster happens, then everything will be stopped, including the cellular phone. So in that case, if there is a lifeline station nearby you, then you can open it and press some buttons to make it work, and this is it. Then several months later, do we need it, or we don't need it anymore? I'm not sure, but now it's 2 months after the 3.11, but still we are using it. So the contribution of the lifeline station may be long. And then in the first phase, right after the disaster, we are trying to get connected to the internet anyway, to communicate with others. And after that, we can use it for the logistics, like medicines or government information or further higher level information sharing, like the count of refugees or status. Now, the very important design of the system is that the system has to be perfectly configured so that there is no necessity to open the laptop computer to configure it in disaster site. We do it before we go to the disaster site. Everything is pre-configured. Then once we go into the disaster site, then what we have to do is just open the package and enable the system and put some buttons to make it work. And utilizing the things in a disaster site is also important. Like a cars is okay, and if the power generator is running, we are very happy. If there is some lamps that is already installed in a building, we can use it. We will use everything that they are in a disaster site. And then the operability that we change is that 5 minutes by professional to install the system, and 10 minutes by amateurs, but still 10 minutes is it. Just open and press some buttons. The overview is very easy. So basically, we are using satellite to get connected to the internet in the disaster site. And then we are deploying some Wi-Fi access point or the broadcasting systems there. So this is what we made actually. Some equipment is from the company, like the satellite earth station. But for others, we can just rack the equipment and then pump out as a package. What we did is very simple, but to develop the system. But what we did take care was to reduce the number of cables between packages. And making everything in wireless could be the best solutions. But it may introduce some difficulty like a power supply. So like this line, we are using PoE to deliver the power and data signal at the same time. This is also the same. So by doing this, we can reduce the number of cables, meaning that reducing the risk of the trouble after we deploy the network. And also, we can take a power from the vehicle to make our power supply package to be capable of get the power from vehicle. For exterior packing, we are using the music rack. So music rack is a portable rather than the big, tall rack in the network operation centers. And it's portable. So we are using this for the temporary solution. For the power, we are using the power inverter to convert the power from the car to our commodity power supply. And then we have a big UPS here to stabilize the power supply and also to make it work after the vehicle is gone, but still the service is alive. For the satellite, we are using the portable satellite Earth station. And the good point of this package is that, okay, is there anybody who are operating satellite networks? No. Okay, I am. And the difficulty is clear. It's very difficult to point the satellite from the Earth. So the good point of this equipment is that the Earth station will automatically track the satellite before they start the communication. And it will take like 3 minutes. And then we can start satellite communications. So that's why we are still using satellite, expecting that the pointing satellite is easy. This is another satellite package. This is very small and easy to point, but the bandwidth is very narrow. Wi-Fi, you already know much about Wi-Fi, but what we use here is like a Skype telephone terminal. This is like a toy, but it's very useful in a disaster site. So in the people in the disaster site may want to make a phone call. Okay, please use my iPhone or please use my laptop computers. We can say that, but they cannot handle it. So the telephone-like device, they can use it. Telephone-like is important. So it's a Wi-Fi and Skype. There is no, it's not the traditional telephone service, but as far as the shape of device is like a telephone, they can use it. The broadcasting is, the broadcasting service in the disaster site is also important. And what we do is to prepare the portable digital broadcasting equipment. This is a transmitter, very small. It's like lunchbox, smaller than a lunchbox. And then we can use it to transmit broadcasting in a very small coverage. And it's useful for delivering the information and some data to the refugee peoples. And we already tried to demonstrate the system in a Tohoku area. It was also Tohoku area, but in 2008. So we tried to explain everything and demonstrate how the system works. And I can show you some video after the presentations. Okay, this is the Lifeline Station, the emergency communication package. And what we did in the post-disaster recovery internet project is to use it. Oops. Um, okay, I'm here. The post-disaster internet is the quickly launched project right after the March 11. This is a voluntary project by the ICT companies, research institute, and the universities. And the motivation is very clear, how we can contribute to the disaster area from the viewpoint of the ICT. Everything is lost, mobile phone is not available, and the existing fixed telephone networks was damaged, and there is no internet. Then what we do is to provide the internet connectivity using the lifeline station in the disaster site, and then to provide some technical support there, because just to deploy the internet is not enough. We can help how to use the internet infrastructure there. The people there does not have the skill and the knowledge to handle internet. They can use Google, Yahoo, email, Skype as a tool, but if they face the internet as a very raw infrastructure, they cannot do anything. So technical support is very important after we deploy the internet. We expected that it will like a 3 months or 4 months activity, but I'm not sure until when we are active as a PGRNet project. And we kicked off this project as a university, but we called for the contributors for our project. So now we have many project contributors to provide the information or accommodations, equipment, and staffs, or whatever. So you may see some popular names like a Cisco, Intel, IP Store, Toshiba, and Hewlett Packard, Microsoft, or something. That are the ICT companies, and they are providing us the satellite internet or the laptop computers or network equipment or everything. And the very important concept of this project is to respond with appropriate technologies. So we do not push, okay, please use it, please use it, please use this. We do not do that. We have to listen to word and the people in the disaster site. What we want to do, what they want is very important. And based on the needs in the disaster site, we can propose a solution and provide the actual equipment. And another point is that the collaboration with the people in the disaster site is very important. So I'm here, but the system is working in the Tohoku area in Japan. So if any trouble happens now in Tohoku, I cannot do anything because I'm talking to you here. So the point is, the system have to be easy to maintain by the people who are living there. Not me, but also like you or in the elderly people in the disaster site. The third one is to contribute to the technical innovation and disaster management in the future. So now we are experiencing something very big and new, and how we can reflect our experience to the next generation post-disaster operation is another big point. And to do this, what we have to do is learn from the experience in the disaster site. Okay, the project activity. So right after the disaster, we started to work. And we can think of the three phases. That is like an initial phase, and the tentative recovery phase, and the recovery phase. Now, we are here, the tentative recovery phase. And in some sites, they are already in the recovery sites. But still, the situation is very serious. They need so much of the support of the ICT there. And our project is trying to cover everything, right after the disaster and in the recovery phase. To do this, we have to be flexible in terms of the resource allocation. So our resource, like the number of rapid computers, the satellite terminals, and the Wi-Fi access point is limited, not unlimited. So if the disaster site is closed in some place, then we have to pick up the equipment and then allocate to another place. And in that case, do we put the equipment as it was in the first place? No. We have to change the components, like, okay, reduce the number of rapid computers, or put another satellite terminals, or whatever. We have to be flexible to respond to the needs in the disaster site. That may be different every place. We have to be flexible. The logistics of our project at the disaster site is like this. So basically, we are here. In our project, we are sharing the information where what kind of support is necessary in what part of the city, in the disaster site or disaster area. And then in this project, the Keio University is here, and we have many contributors. So between us, we are exchanging the informations, requests, and the equipment and the staffs to prepare the system to provide action. And in some contributors, they directly support the disaster site. So this kind of two routes are our support. And also, another project is running. So in that case, we can exchange the information and the equipment, and then we can support the disaster site in a collaborative manner. So basically, we do not work alone. We are always collaborating with others. The technologies that we use in our post-disaster recovery internet is, we have three technologies. One is a satellite internet plus Wi-Fi. And the second one is a 3G network plus Wi-Fi. So in Japan, the 3G network is already deployed, and after the disaster, in some place, the 3G network is in a temporary recovery phase. So if the 3G network is available, then we are putting the 3G router to make it like the internet, and then the computers and another network device can connect to the internet. The benefit of the satellite is we can put everywhere as far as the south direction is open. And then the satellite is the broadband, and the connectivity is stable. But it takes so much money. And then for 3G, it's easy and small, but the narrow band. And in the place that the 3G network in Japan, there are two types of the 3G network, the faster one and the slower one. And in the slower one, the network bandwidth is very narrow. But still, this is so much better than nothing. To communicate using emails, messaging, and a very slow but active video conferencing or sound conferencing, we can use it. The third one is a long-range Wi-Fi using the 2.4 GHz, and the range is like 10 kilometers. This is another solution after some disaster site is get connected to the internet, and then to expand this connectivity to another disaster site nearby, then we can use the long-range Wi-Fi. So the system we have here is like the Lifeline Station package. We prepare 3 Lifeline Station packages and the 3 IP Star satellite Earth station. And also we have some package from Cisco for using satellite. And then the 3G internet, we are using the router from Cisco and the Internet Initiative Japan. And other equipment like Wi-Fi access point, laptop computers, printers, and 100 iPod touches. We are preparing it to distribute in the disaster site in an appropriate manner. The activity is on 3.11. We were hit by the earthquake and the tsunami. And right after the day, we started to discuss and prepare the system. And also, we started to call for the contribution to the public sectors and private sectors, like a company and the local government in the Tohoku Prefect area. And then, from the March 25th, we get started to work in the disaster site. We already sent 5 batches, and I was joining 4 of the 5 batches somehow. So I went to the disaster area for 4 times. And not only the faculty or the company people were there. We involved the PhD student, master student, and the bachelor student to our project to go there actually. And they are working now. And for the backup part, we have the list of the members of the backup staff, including the student, so that we can allocate the people to go there. How they use our equipment depends on the situation, but in this case, we have a very big refugee site. There are over 1,000 people in gymnasium in the Tohoku area. So in this place, there are some medical team and refugee site. So we put the satellite and the laptop computers to be used. the computers were used for the medical and some information sharing purpose in the disaster site. And another thing, place is a public sector like local government office. They will arrive. Then the LAN and the PCs were there. So we just put the 3G internet to make their network connected to the internet. Another place here was the facility for elderly people, and it was used as a refugee site. So we put the 3G routers here because the 3G network arrived there. And for medical facility, we are putting the satellite and the PCs and the printers and telephone-like Wi-Fi device to be used as a telephone. And also in the disaster site, we are putting laptop computers, printers, and whatever we have. So we are supporting more than 10 disaster sites in the Tohoku area. And what we learned is, anyway, we have to be prepared. We don't have to have the equipment like the 10 satellite terminals and the 100 Wi-Fi access point and the 1,000 laptop computers. We don't have to have it. We can just have the idea. What we have to do when we are actually hit by a disaster. And who can support us is also important, like a company, university, research institute, local government. We can get started to discuss there with such kind of expected contributors around you. And then another point is that the things may happen outside the disaster site. Like in this disaster in Japan, the Tohoku area was hit by the disaster and tsunami. But Tokyo was affected because the power source of the Tokyo was located in the Tohoku. So in that case, as well as Tohoku, Tokyo had a big problem in terms of the power supply. So the idea is that be flexible anyway, and we have another alternative method to keep our resource running in the outside your place or our place is important. So that's why we are using the cloud computing to transfer the virtual machine to another place. And this is for the guys who wants to go to the disaster site after it happens. Please do not wait for the input from others. Please actively work on and correct the information by yourself. As far as you wait, then you will do nothing during you wait. So you have to work actively. And to do this, it's also important to think as much as possible. If I go there, what will happen? If I put the internet what will be necessary more. So like the enabling only the internet is not enough. We have to think how we use it. Is there enough resource that can utilize our internet there? We have to think of it. So it's meaningless to put the internet where no device is there. We bring the device too, or we can utilize the existing device to connect to the installing internet. We have to ensure to do this. We have to correct the information very actively. And if I say, okay, there is internet, please use in a DDoS site, and nobody will respond. But okay, you can use telephone, you can access Yahoo, Google, or send email, then they can use. So the point is that the internet is just an infrastructure. So, and their hidden demand in the brain is there. So to interconnect the actual infrastructure and their demand in their mind is important. To do this, we may have to provide equipment, or we may have to train the people in the disaster site how to use it. So this is a kind of lessons that is part of the technology. It's a kind of the educations or the social networking and the social hacking to make it work in the disaster site. And for the future activity, we have many things to be sophisticated more in terms of the logistics. And Lifeline Station 2, we want to make it more smaller and lightweight and more easy to handle. And also, how do we maintain the community around the university, companies, local government, or any other contributors is also important to sustain not our project, but our community to support it is very important. So our project may finish in a couple of months maybe, but we have to support it. So in that case, some kind of alliance is important that can take care of the disaster site. And for the technical challenges, still we have cloud computing. So we are very using the primitive solutions now, and then how we can sophisticate it is important. And the last keyword in here is I'm now involved in some joint research between Japan and India, and now India is also facing the same problem, like a very heavy storm and some earthquake in the northern part of India. So how do we contribute using our technology, and the experience is also an issue. And we have many pictures to show, so but now the time is already gone. So if you are interested in these pictures and other stories that I have, please come up to me. I'll be there. Okay? So any questions?
What does SFC stand for?
Sorry?
SFC.
SFC. Oh, sorry. SFC is the name of our university campus. It's Shonan Fujisawa campus. So our university has several campuses, and one of them is working as a headquarters of our project. So the answer is there is no special meaning of the SFC. It's a network campus. Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
Many people wondering how can the Japanese using like Twitter or email or whatever after the tsunami. How long can you recover the internet access in the country after the disaster?
Okay, this is a very good question, I think. Actually, right after the disaster, the telecommunication company is working very hard to recover the mobile and fixed telephone infrastructure. And most of them was getting recovered, including the use of the mobile temporary base station of the mobile. But rest of the dam may take very long time to recover because the building of the telephone base station was destroyed by tsunami. So you can imagine that to build one building with a networking facility and a very strong walls and the power supply and securities, it may take long. So most of them can be recovered very quickly in a relatively short time period, but rest of them may need our help to support the communication there. And for the Twitter, the right after disaster, of course, the people in Tohoku may have a very difficulty to use Twitter. So almost nobody was using it. But in Tokyo, we had information to share. Like for commuters that was not able to go home, okay, there is an evacuation site, you can go there, or the train will start the operation from 11 o'clock in the night or something. So such kind of information can be shared using internet and the Twitter, Facebook. So in that case, the people in Tokyo were using it right after the disaster actually. And also, afterward, the very serious trouble in the nuclear plant was turned on. And then everyone can easily imagine that there will be the very big power blackout in Tokyo. And when it started, and how many times, how often we will have a power blackout, most people in Tokyo was wondering about that. And in the first, very initial phase, we were using Twitter to share the information about the power blackout, as well as the transportation or whatever. And after that, we are now not relying on the Twitter only. We are using our own SNS or some web page from the power supply company or whatever. So, but still, in Tokyo, we were using Twitter. Okay. Okay, so I don't think that I told everything to you. So yeah, if you're interested in, yeah, please come up to me. Thank you.
ขอเชิญคุณภาคภูมิไตรพัฒน์นะคะกรรมการผู้จัดการบริษัท TH จำกัดมอบของที่ระลึกค่ะ สำหรับช่วงเวลาต่อไปนะคะเดี๋ยวน้องๆจะได้มีเวลากลับไปเก็บของ แล้วก็นำของที่เก็บมานะคะของมาถึงของตัวเองเนาะเก็บของนะคะแล้วก็นำมาไว้ที่หน้าห้อง 401 หลังจากนั้นกุญแจห้องนำไปคืนที่พี่เลี้ยงนะคะแล้วก็ทานข้าวที่ห้องเดิม